Man, it's time to get some silent gun classes from good old Gordon Freeman. Thank you, John Freeman, for teaching this young girl how to shoot a gun. I mean, that was the time, isn't it? See if I can find a nice bit of soundtrack just to keep the mood going, because it is so quiet. And like, yeah, that's nice in Half-Life, but man, I'm getting just a little bored. Let's go with Petrichor from Hyper Light Drifter. With a remarkable amount of patience in this guy, shares with his group. I thought this man was pressed for time. Just carry her back at this point. Shows the basic group of how to actually use a gun we've only ever seen in movies and shows. In reality, it's a pretty basic principle. Have a good grip, point the gun, and simply go out to shoot and pull the trigger. At least, that's what I got from Gordon's silence charades. Hopefully it actually translates into me being able to use it right. Still, part of me hopes that I don't have to use it at all. Seriously? Seriously, are you okay with me just taking it? He nods once more, as he raises to his full height. I'm cool with the crowbar. Knowing me, I'd probably shoot myself in the foot or something like accident. I joke, getting an unimpressed frown from my piss-poor attempt at humor. Yeah, you know what? Never mind that. Give me one last pat. The human rises to his feet and hands over 2 mags to me, deadly in their copper and brass payloads, sticking... What is it with you calling out the metal composition? What are you, a metallurgist? Get this metallologist out of here. Wordlessly taking one, I slowly stick it into the bottom of the gun. The slide gently fights me as I try to work it back, but with a solid jerk, I watch as one of the deadly projectiles gets pushed upwards. Oh, I guess that's the situation. I thought a lot of weapons did that automatically. Like, surely you can make the slotting of the magazine give a little energy kick to load in the first bullet. Doesn't it have a little fucking spring for this? I try to let go of the slides and get shoved violently into the bang-bang hole. I now have a fully loaded, cocked, and armed gun in my hands. Cool? I feel like Olivia would probably be a bit more confident, but I feel like someone like Anon might be like, wow, this is terrifying. Especially Inko. I feel like Inko wouldn't be aware of like the semantics, but he would be aware of the fact that it's kind of scary. Man, I hope I don't end up shooting myself. We ran out of juice after all. My good go-go juice. Just hurry and go do your thing. The sooner you're back, the better. My words act as a final justification that Gordon seemingly needs. With side nods, he turns to Wilson Freezer, carefully lowering the firearm to the floor, while she strides over and harshly jerks one of the handles on the door. A freezing and so much harshness. Blast of the door immediately explodes out into the room like one of those decompression scenes seen in disaster movies. Its winds make me want to curl up into my jacket like a turtle would in their shell. But as soon as the winds attack the silence, Gordon slams the door shut behind him, leaving me alone again. And then they close behind him automatically. Well, at least I have a gun. So now what? I asked the empty hallway. I'm not sure how long it had been since Gordon had entered the freezer. Not exactly like there's a clock down here. I'd use my phone, but the last thing I want to use is exhaust my remaining battery. The first thing I want to do when I make the search is make 3 simple requests. Get me out of this hellhole, get me home, and get me all the pizza in the world, please. Something along those lines. Maybe in a different order. Home first, the other 2s are less relevant. I mean, not the pizza one. Oh. Getting bored, I taken to look over the bandage still wrapped on my arm. I wonder if I should take it off. I mean, the healing station obviously did something with it. Does that mean it's all better now? Either way, I decided to keep it on for the time just in case. They are the only other things that were around to be messed with were the gun and the dead corpses, and obviously not too thrilled to touch either of the two. Family picture of that one guy still haunts me, though. I shiver as a chill runs down my spine at the idea that all these zombies we've killed are normal people, screaming and crying out for someone to help them free them from the miniature hell they found. Why would you call it a miniature hell? Like, I know that you're trying to describe, like, they're stuck in their own bodies, but that's a weird way to describe it, miniature. For us to watch as they lumber around and kill their colleagues. Are they actually still alive? Alert? Conscious? Under all that? Maybe Smith is right. What if killing them is the best thing to do? The only thing you can do. The whole body goes rigid as a familiar chirping noise goes down the hallway. Oh no, it's just a little guy. It's a little... I immediately swiped the gun from the floor, trying to fall back on the crash course I'd gotten. Staring down the long hallway, I watch with ever more frantic breath as the familiar chirping noise of a head-humper seemingly grows louder and louder. Where did it come from? Like, this connects directly to the cafeteria where they're waiting. With baited. I thought it was baited with an A and no I. Hold up. Yeah, it's bated breath. Hold up. One moment. Baiting means reduced, lowered, or restrained. That's why it's a baited breath, not as in it's been baited for a trap. With baited shaky breath, I raised the gun and looked down the hallway. Its singular dot and white U forming a picture that takes up most of my view. You're not using a gun right if you're shoving it up to your face like that. Though even with your arm takes up more space than the gun should. Because you're looking down the gun at a straight profile, but your arm is like, Though even with the practice, the horrifying reality of having to use a gun to actually protect myself from becoming one of those horrifying freaks does make holding the gun steady impossible. There! Bang, 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 bang. The darkened hallway lights up in a flurry of gunfire. The fireballs. Why do you keep calling them like fire? They're little bits of like super hot lead and brass. Also brass isn't copper. It's really weird they'd be lead and brass and whatever. Point is, they're not fireballs. It's really weird to describe. Like a fireball erupts from a firearm because of the explosion, but I'm pretty sure smokeless powder doesn't work like that no more. Blinding me in a spectacle of light and flames. Jesus Christ, woman! They're not that long-lived before I get a chance to really see my enemy. Everything in my body screams to keep pulling the trigger, but even as my fragile hearing gets reduced to absolute zero from the point-blank gunfire, while the unexpected harsh recoil slaps against the webs of my palms. You don't have webbing, as far as I can tell. You just have hands. Does she have webbing? Hold up, we need to do some research. I was under the impression that she didn't have webbing. Olivia. Yeah, it doesn't really look like she's got webbing. Like when she got her hands in her hair. I'm pretty sure I started screaming at one point. Click! Then, just as soon as it began, the gun fell silent. The sting of gunpowder waxed my nostrils, smelling weirdly like a burnt piece of toast. My hands still madly shake. The whole ordeal of blasting the headfucker to bits having an insane rush I'd never experienced before. Rapidly blinking out of my shock, I looked down in a desperate rush at the gun. Its slide is stuck backwards, offering a small view of the gun. There's no more bullets, but I have killed, right? Oh no! You didn't get experience points, you should have known. Oh crap. Completely unfazed by the barrage of gunfire, it slowly waddles down the hallway towards me. It might be deaf, who knows? Although the zombies did respond to sound. Several smoldering bullet holes line the entire hallway, the ceiling, the floor, and even the walls. Don't use the alt fire, it sucks. It's barely useful. Like, it's way better as a snipe gun, especially if you can get in close, just use a shotgun. I guess you get more bullets or whatever. But out of all the bullets I shot, none landed even remotely close, leaving me with an empty gun and an evil killer headcrab. Didn't he give you a spare one? No, he just gave you one. Fuck you! I just really tossed the gun at the crab and it hopefully clatters on the ground. You can't even fucking throw it. You give spear throws a hell of a time, but here you are not throwing well. Now I have no gun and a killer crab is bumbling towards me. I can't believe he's trundling like Enon. Gordon! I shout out, hoping my orange suit of saver will swoop in and save the day. Backpedaling, I push myself until my back bumps against the wall. Gordon! The crab slowly closes the distance, its little chirp sounding more and more like my impending zombification. Oh god, I'm going to turn into a freak, begging people to kill me. Please, for after Jesus. No, stay back! My hand sticks out, desperately trying to dissuade the monster, distancing more and more. Distance shrinks more and more until... No, please, get away from... With a resounding cry, rears into his height like to throw itself high into the air, directly towards me. Ah! The room falls silent. Status report. Head, not being consumed by some monster. Strangely, the mouth is reporting that a foreign object lodged in my maw. Blinking my eyes to the time to confirm the report. There's a head crab lodged in my maw! The appendage is wildly fleeing as it whines and tries to free itself. Everything in my brain immediately goes in overdrive to let out a muffled scream. Why aren't you letting go? Like, this is a weird combination of things. The taste of a horrifically bitter liquid burns my throat, driving every bit of me into trying it out. I can feel every one of its teeth individually stabbing into the fleshy top of its butt. Oh, your teeth are stabbing into it. The muscles in the back of my jaw scream. being forcefully pushed to their upper limits as my hands grappled, trying to yank it. It got comically stuck in there. Also, this zombie goo might actually zombify you. Shouldn't you be more concerned about the goo? Like, you don't know how the zombification works. My vision fills with stars and flailing limbs as my nostrils struggle to provide enough air. Ugh, what are you, a fucking bulldog or whatever they're called? Well, those poor animals that literally cannot breathe properly because they bred its nose to be too small. Everything starts to get blurry as my own muffled screams grow weaker and weaker. There's the world fade to black. I can't believe you fucking fall unconscious from choking on your own food, idiot. There's no conscious decision, no internal monologue about survival, just a suffocating dark and the frantic pulsing rhythm of live meat struggling against my teeth. Terrified girl begging to pry the monster is gone. Man's gonna simply drop away. Crunch! I can't believe you have a biting reflex. A shower of liquid and flesh explodes before my eyes. Air fills my lungs in a massive short gasp as something rushes down the wrong pipe. I choke and sputter, falling forward on my knees with my eyes closed. A horrifying feeling of reality settles back upon me. In a few seconds, I cough up liquid, sharp stabs, and straight chokes from my throat, feeling the same awful bitter taste going into my mouth. Another cough. This one slightly better than the last. I gag, desperate to free myself from whatever else is in there. Nothing but a small miracle, but I managed to dislodge the remainder. I lay keeled over, taking shaky and wet breaths, and feeling the adrenaline from earlier today starting to wear down. Mindlessly, I fall backwards onto my butt, leaning up against the wall behind me as I run a hand through my hair. Everything seems foggy in my mind, but little by little, the cognizant feeling of actually being awake starts to filter into my mind. What the? After Jesus. With one last breath through my nostrils, I opened my eyes, letting them drift around the room. At the base of my feet lay the back half of a crab monster, the front chunk looking as if it had been ripped off by some other beast. Its guts spill out in a puddle of yellowish green. Several smaller chunks lay scattered around whatever had been spit up by the monster. Spat up by a monster. My eyelids slowly raise, and a horrifying chill runs down my spine. With reluctance, yet desperate to know, my hand gently drifts up to my maw. The tips are wet with the liquid coating my teeth. Just by touch, I know it's not spit. Your tongue can tell you this. Don't you have a fucking tongue? Another shaky breath pulls. Also, wouldn't this creature be chewing on your tongue with its little belly mouth? Another shaky breath as I pull back my hand to see where it was. Oh no, it's covered in the gore! You've had a snack. I cover the tip of my snout, relentlessly trying to keep the sudden onslaught of burning stomach acid from escaping. My whole body jerks as I gag and try to puke out my entire lunch. It takes everything in me to tear my gaze away from the chunks. As everything finally comes back together like a bucket of ice water being spilled on me. I feel like this would work much better if we, as the reader, weren't really not sure what happened. You kind of spoiled the lead there, buddy. I bitten the crab in half like one of my primal ancestors had seen it in a museum, and I felt it, and I can fucking taste it. In a panic somewhere deep in the back, somewhere deep in the back of my fading mind, a cold automatic reflex had woken up. A terrified girl begging to pry the monster was swallowed by an ancient instinct. Jesus fucking Christ, why are you so poetic? You're a painter, not a writer. My exhausted muscles didn't ask for my permission to stop fighting. They didn't need me, they just did what they needed to do. Your little lizard brain activate, and I mean that in the sense of like humans have a lizard brain. It's the primitive part that keeps you alive. Not the monkey brain that's a bit clever. Or the human part that thinks smartly. Barely managing to swallow enough of my bile back, I let out a breathy whine, collapsing as my hands grab at my hair. Ah! I wheezily scream out onto my chest, trying to protect myself from everything. So I'm only met with the sight of my clothes soaked in the same green blood. Recoiling back in disgust to try to force my gaze somewhere it can stay, and not get me to hurl my food or traumatize me any more than I already am. Because it's so easy to forget that you just literally ripped a living being in half with your own mouth. When I threatened to rip other people's faces off, I'd only meant it as a fake show of force. Of course, I never end up doing something like that, for real. But the unmoving corpse at my feet says otherwise. I whine out loud, knowing damn well no one's going to hear it but me. Still, in the last 5 minutes, all I wanted to do was crawl up into the harness and let Gordon do the rest of the heavy lifting. Even with the ever-worthless promise of the surface being just within reach, the thought of being able to get out of this hell is a tempting dream to keep pushing for. Even if it means I'll probably end up going from one frying pan into another. Finally, my eyes thankfully find an inoffensive sight to look at. Affixed onto the wall is a simple coffee machine, doing little but charming the world with its basic picture, promising a hot and steaming cup of fresh joe. It's probably shit, man. Do you have any idea where you are? It's not going to be good coffee. My attention drifts to the machine and slides downwards away from it. A trio of bodies are stacked top of each other. 53's zombies of a scientist with chunks blast. Zombies and a scientist with chunks blasted out of them. I'd ignored them earlier. You really didn't. You acknowledged their presence. And my eyes are glued on the stack. Despite something like this probably having me laugh and call out its effects in the past, it's not just a pile that my gaze settled, rather in it. The half and horrifically marred, grotesque human face underneath the missing half of a crab. Wait, what? The half of a horrifyingly marred and grotesque human face underneath a missing half of a crab stared back at me. That's such a clumsy sentence. Where there'd been an eyeball's now a sunken socket, hollow as if the crab had swallowed it up when the poor bastard was taken over, and its mouth stuck in its last moment of life, screaming. The sight of the forever scream is a breaching charge at the doors of my stomach. Hot, burning stomach acid sprays out onto the floor. My stomach lurches as another wave slams into me, spilling every bit of my stomach's contents out as I fall backwards on all fours. How would you fall backwards onto all fours? A hollow, yet horrifically wet-sounding scream mixed with red-hot tears literally bubbles out from my throat, sting of bile and blood overloading my brain to the point where it feels like thinking is impossible. Instinct takes over, guiding me, scurrying like an animalistic monster. I was just transformed into down the hallway and away from the freezer as a horrible cocktail of coughing and sobbing seeps out of me in a twisted sound. I don't even think of the fact that I'm leaving Gordon behind or the mess I made of myself. I have to get away from here now. And Smith. I need a fucking coffee for this one. Smith. We're going with Smith. Do you think they're ever going to come back? I narrow my gaze at the guard slouched on the sofa. I feel like if we're gonna go with Smith of all characters, like Gordon and Olivia, fine, but this guy needs a distinct voice after all these POVs. Receiving a glare of my own and my unappreciated response. What? I'm just being realistic is all. It's been like forever now. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's just someone else. Do you think they're ever gonna come back? What? I'm just being realistic is all. It's just been like forever. Andretti, you gotta give the guy a chance. I mean, he's probably the main reason we're all alive right now. I explained, getting a sarcastic roll of the man's eyes. Look, I was alive before the guy showed up. We'd better not. Hey, my gaze narrows, making it all too clear the man overstepped his boundaries. The girl is not a pet or a science experiment. And if I hear otherwise out of your mouth again, there is going to be trouble. The whole room falls silent. Russo and Benovitz stare awkwardly between the silent feud developing between Andretti and myself. Neither of the two look like they want to get involved, and they certainly aren't too happy with what's happening. Andretti's lips press to a firm line, his eyes boring into me as he carefully thinks of his next move. To my unshown relief, he lets out a sigh, running a hand. I say, Sorry, boss, tough day. Slowly not keeping my guard up. Yes, well, do not just... The whole group freezes. Sound of choked sobs and hacking echoes comes from the massive archway in the middle of the lunchroom that Gordon and Olivia had vanished down. Myself and the other guards immediately find our sidearms. More than certain whatever's coming down there isn't a buddy. Carefully, I raise from my seat and step down the lunch hall, keeping my sights trained on the small barricade before the hallway. I feel like if Andretti's gonna make any fucking move, it'd be this, right? She's messed up and crying and covered in goo. Like, if ever the fucking time that she's a monster and needs to get taken care of, There we go. Me, myself, under bottom. Okay. My nerves tense up, waiting for another freakish monster to round the corner. At least that's until I see a green tail flicker briefly over the pile. Kid? For a split second, a flicker of worry fills my views. Gordon isn't with her. If she's alone, crying and choking on something by the sounds of it. Does that mean one of those head thumpers got her? Not being able to see her head only makes the situation worse. Waving to the group behind me to hold their distance, I slowly trek forwards, praying softly under my breath to the big guy upstairs that she isn't put under one of Satan's murder hats. I'll give you points for that one. Please, do not be a zombie. Please, do not be a zombie. The barricade thumps as she presses against it. Kid, you there? There's a gurgling sound of acknowledgement. The zombies have the capacity to acknowledge. Don't take that as gospel. One green hand comes up, then another. Hold my breath as I wait for her head. All I'm met with is a filthy alien blood / tear / I don't even know what that is. Soaked face. A look of a poor thing drives directly at my heart. Oh, shit, kid! What happened? I exclaim, quickly holstering my piece. Andretti, Russo, get over here! With a relieved, yet still present bit of urgency, I start breaking down the makeshift barrier so the poor girl can get through on her own. My fellow guards in arms quickly take over, letting their own bits of relief known as they make out that, she's not a zombie. With coordinated effort, we take apart the blockage to the point where Olivia can crawl out. Breathless, still choking back a few tearful sobs, she crawls just a few feet into the lunch hall before collapsing forward. Immediately, I scramble onto the ground, early picking her up. Hey, hey, kid, talk to me? What happened? Wait, cowboy, where's Gordon? I don't pay too much attention to his words, as I get the kit on his side at least. My blood runs cold as I see a massive streak of yellow-green soaking her jacket and shirt. When I get stuck, I'm thinking what to do, so I think of the only thing I reasonably can do. Hey, you are safe. Breathe, I encourage, gently rubbing her shoulder. A few heavy breaths. Her breathing slowly falls under control as she starts to piece of the facts. Oh, come on, at least do the feather thing for fucking, what's it called? The rest of the group gathers around, looking down at the clearly shaken teen. I'm not sure what happened, but whatever did was big news, and not in the good way. Sadly, that doesn't help with the elephant in the room. Where the hell is Gordon? Taking one last breath, Olivia picks herself off the ground, settling onto her. What's with the fucking haunches? As she rubs one of her eyes. She starts looking between us. It's okay. Just take a few breaths and start from the top. The words seem to remind the kid that they too have an apparent need of oxygen. With a few breaths, they look up at us. The more confused. Why do you use they? You just called her she. Wait a minute. Did he just left you? Andretti interrupts, not too happy with the facts. I've seen her left before. It was at least with me. I wasn't too thrilled about having a civilian left alone, with a loaded gun and no training at that. Wait, what do you mean with a loaded gun? I thought she left the gun behind. Real smart move there. Smooth move, X-Lax. God damn it. Olivia slowly looks at the ground, silent. The dim lighting of the room hiding her eyes and the shadows of her hair as a frown pulls on her strained snout. I shoot up a glare at the man. Usually Andretti is really nice, but he has to tone this crap back. I like to imagine it's because he's fucking terrified of the fact that he's about to die. Look, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but is Gordon actually coming back? I'm just saying, it's been almost 30 minutes now. The younger guard sheepishly shrinks under our collective gazes. So I try to assure him everything is fine. The truth of the matter is a lot more than empty promises. Russell's right, it's been a while now. Whatever the hell. How the fuck do you take 30 minutes over that? Hellspawn, and with that Hellspawn roaming the halls, anything could happen to anyone, even a guy in an HEV suit. I slip off my helmet and scratch my head in deepening thoughts, take a few steps away from the group. The reality is, as much as I want to stay, we have to keep moving. There has to be another way. We can backtrack, find something we missed, maybe? Boss? Andretti's voice perks up from behind me, reminding me I have to make a choice, and soon. A heavy slice sips off of me as I drag a hand down my face. We have got to find another way around it. Thunk. All of us jump and spin around to the metallic sound of a door opening. Isn't this where the sign... I gotta get myself killed. Woo! All of us jump and spin around to the sound of the metallic sound of a door opening. A massive wave of relief washes over me as a familiar silhouette of an orange HEV suit filters through the clouded windows. To my ever-growing surprise and happiness, the sounds of other people filter through from the opening to the lunchroom leading to the door. Don't see the point of coming back here. I must insist that we... A bald, dark-skinned scientist pests himself against the glass. His eyes practically explode out of their sockets as they land on our little gang. More survivors! Benderson? Hannah, is that you? The old man peels himself off the glass, eager footsteps echoing out from the hallway, before he rounds the corner and quickly rushes up to her. My God, I thought you were dead. Where's Clifford? He wanted to stay behind. His reasoning was that rescue would find him. A scoff of disbelief slips out of the man as he shakes his head. That's not important right now. How did you find us? Oh, wait. I don't know who the fuck's talking. Dr. Freeman found us. I was searching with the urgency to come this way, but I perfectly understand now. Mind you, he fell on top of us, quite literally so. Wait, oh no, Ness nasally. Is nasal? Well, he wanted us to stay behind. Fills the room, I turn, another guard. Black hair. How big is this fucking group gonna get? You don't need this many characters, especially if they don't do anything. Careful out of event. Nearly gave Dr. Banderson a heart attack. Now, that's something to expect. The ward's got chased off as the quiet alligators to get to the floor. Exhausted sighs. Just in time for Gordon to briskly walk around the corner. He's like, what the fuck happened to my gun, Olivia? Only to find Yeah, he's like, oh, you're Olivia, you're in the right shape, but why are you here? Why didn't she just crawl here earlier? Again, it's like such a weird thing to have all this time wasted when he could have just tugged her over. I don't know. I feel like he could have made this work a little better. Oh, Gordon! Olivia exclaims as the man suddenly falls to his knees with surprising agility for a guy wearing a hazmat suit. He looks at the horrified state of the poor thing, seemingly looking over every slight that happened to her. Stop! An unfamiliar guard drones, looking just as confused as the scientist. I shake my head and give the guy an amused shrug. Look, it'll be easier if she's on our side and we can explain later. Two men look at me, I'm completely unsure. How many people do we have? We have Olivia, Gordon, we have Andretti, Russo, Smith, Hannah, unknown scientist guy 2, and unknown guard 2. So that makes for 8 fucking people. I guess Gordon can't speak. So that's a little bit of a dampener, but fuck, dude. The two men look at me, clearly unsure, but being met with the pathetically complaining teenager trying to swat away the caring hands of Dr. Freeman, they can't really complain. Still obviously concerned, but starting to be overwhelmed by the fervent swat with the Gator. Gordon rises back to his feet, gestures to the harness with a deep apologetic look. And she tilts her head. While they get situated, look at our newest additions. Trying to get up to the surface where the military is going to come and rescue us. So what I heard is only one problem with that. The elevators! They're all out! Out? What do you mean out? They don't work? Unless you're good at climbing, they're a no-go. This is devastating. Those were seemingly the final hurdle on this whole track, and they're just broken, just like that? No, no, no. I refuse to accept if there isn't something we can do. Clear my throat and slip my helmet back on. That's the case. Yeah, we gotta see if there's something out there. Or rather give a look and spend my time down here moping until the cavalry arrives. And they're all like, meh, 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 meh. Irish speaking my language. Banderson. Banderson. This is the new guy. Forgot that he had a name. He's not all named science. Are we okay with that? I asked, turned to the crowd. Olivia's all fucked up. Walking briskly, we funnel out of the lunchroom into the open doorway. Small nod of respect. View carefully. Man, there's a whole fucking army. You got like one a pop. Just find a way out. A body comes crashing into a nearby window, sending. Oh my god. Is this the fucking hallway that everyone knows where like there's the dudes upstairs and then the zombie pushes his way through a fucking wall like it ain't no thing? Two scientists in our group yelp out in fear as several of the zombies slowly emerge from nowhere. Get back, and they draw out his piece. There's a lot of walking corpses. There's too many dudes. Your scene is getting really confusing and muddled, buddy. You might want to ease up on that. And they all fall to the ground. Oh no, it's more of those things. Quickly, pew, 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 pew. We're all shooting guns. I guess Gordon got his gun or something. I guess Olivia took it with her. I don't know anymore, man. I don't care. I appreciate how fast this went. Oh, this is where the elevator's out. And you have to climb, and like everyone stays behind here. Narcotic duo turned behind me. Transfixed on a nearby door, only inch away from it. Fell to infested. Blah blah blah. Don't you see him? Oh, we saw G-Man. The guy in the suit. It's right there. Just mocking us behind the doorway. This is literally the second time I've seen him. Who is that guy anyway? Why is he following us? Why does his suitcase contain a gun, a pen, and a cool computer system? A man in a suit? A man? Listen, I believe in women following in suit and non-binary people and a whole bunch of alternative options. But a man? That's a little too freaky for me. Gordon gives an unsure shrug before waving it off. Olivia wasn't happy to, shit sucks. There's no way I can jump across that shaft. Look, Doc, someone's got to. Maybe they can do something to help them, Bah, I failed physical education. Guess I'm playing babysitter again. That's very cute. I think one of the scientists even sits down on the chair at this point. Yeah, only in the remake in Black Mesa, not in the original. It's a lot. Just kind of stand around next to it, being like, "Hey, Gordon, go through this." I'm gonna hold up here a bit, maybe gather supplies from the cafeteria. Someone's brave enough to make a jump for it. Man, what's up with my gut? I keep having the hiccups. Gloved head raises up. He waves over to translate. Should be able to make it. Long jumps like these are part of hazard training course. He knows how to crouch jump. Don't ask questions. It just works. It's how the physics work. Because the hitbox get pulled upwards, right? Like when you jump, when you crouch, your hitbox halves. And normally you're like, okay, that means that like when I crouch, my hitbox shrinks down. No, your hitbox shrinks upwards. And that's why you fall after a crouch. That's how they made the crouch animation work, by literally dropping you to the ground. So if you jump and crouch, your legs pull up and your hitbox shrinks upward, so you gain a little extra potential height you can climb. Like your jump doesn't get any higher, but your hitbox goes further off the ground. It's really weird, okay? Okay? Please understand. It was a thing at, okay, it was a thing at the time, okay? A lot of games had crouch jumping. Make sure you get a good running jump there, Chief. I don't want to get out. Oh, Olivia's like, buddy, no. Just saying it's not the smartest thing. Yeah. Especially considering the guy left you for dead earlier. Barely hear her mutter that last part. But looks of it, thankfully, I'm the only one that did. Man, don't say that about Gordon Freeman. Multitude of agreements. Everyone's like, please, girl, sure. Every time I left the side, something bad happened to me. You said you won't fall to your death. You're gonna make this man's jump real shit, you know? He's right. But everything here is trying to kill me at this point. If we make it, there's a small chance we. Gordon seems to cave in first. Look, if that's what you want. You look like you know what you're doing. Non-human slings a shotgun onto his back. Where does he sling it? I guess it has a strap. I think it was implied he does. He's the one last look at a scaly partner. He's like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. Fine. Oh my god. Kid practically screams her lungs out. Holy shit, you actually did it, you maniac. Ah! Kid practically screams her lungs out of her whole body, tail included. Wraps around Gordon like a monkey onto a tree. Holy fuck, holy shit, you actually did it, you maniac. I didn't think you'd actually do it after Jesus fuck climb. Wasting no time, the guy quickly starts climbing up the rung one by one. Relieved and feeling an actual bit of hope for once, I watch as they slowly rise higher and higher onto the shaft. A brisk energy fills my chest, urging me to walk up to the edge of the doorway. You keep going until you reach the surface, I shout, cupping my hands to my cheek, feeling a hopeful smile pull at my lips. And now don't you go and forget about us, you hear? I appreciate that, they bold the text at the end of a chapter like that. So yes, now we are here. Oh, we're in strategic placement, which I think is technically when we got hostile starts, right? I guess. It's a really short chapter, too. Oh, Olivia apparently gets a helmet. Man, I love that art. That's some cute art. We'll get to that later. Why don't you get the helmet? Oh. Oh, it's the soldiers. She gets a soldier helmet. Oh. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, this is where the scientist gets killed. That's the... Oh, man, that's a good fucking point to cliffhang on. Anyway, next time we got strategic placements. Remember... I forgot about... God, I need to play through more of this, I guess. No, I got there. And, whatever, man. I'm going to go and lick a potato. Make it a hobby. Make it a fucking hobby.